Cecil bird. How's Cecil? Hmm? Is this a stick up? Are you a bandit? It's a stick up? No. If you start pressing that against me, you're gonna nail me. I know how you are. You need a second toy. Well, you do. Otherwise I become the second toy.
You're the
Nice,
best one,
Cecil.
yeah.
Aw, there's a good Cecil bird. There's a good Cecil bird. I'm not sure what you're good for, but you're a good Cecil bird. Hmm? Sea salt? Hello, KK. Are you posing for a picture or something? What are you doing? What are you doing? Hmm? Oh, so silly Cecil. Yeah, snowball. No bird.
You're such a good boy.
Hi, snowball. What you doing?
Oh, we have chatters. Falconsu is here. No, oh yeah, here is Falconsu and E. Schwartz. So Falconsu was saying nobody here but me yet. No, I'm here and Eleanor is here and Cecil is here.
Hey.
And we're having E. Schwartz here. Hello, saying giving you a stick to play fetch. Cecil? He usually prefers to play Bash the Don.
Hmm. That's his game. Hi, Falcon Sue. Hi, eat Schwartz. Lucy, what you doing up there? Lucy, got some splaining to do there, Lucy. Nope.
Oh, that's sweet. Birdie love. Is that Kazil?
Hey,
Hmm?
oh, is that the the hybrid of Cecil and KK Kazel?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I thought they are ready for one since they fusioned a couple of meetings ago. I have photos who can prove that.
Matter's doing
Um,
okay with
These up
Snowball in the
energies.
room lately.
Good birds. I'm happy to see they are not trying to fight with each other.
You still have to keep an eye on them, but Jazz is in her usual spot. AK's just hanging out with me right now. He's been playing around a lot though. Haven't you? Hmm?
And GTH is here. Welcome, GTH. Yeah. Hi, Lisa. I think I said it already, but I'm not sure if Don has noticed. He was busy watching these really two super cutie pies.
Yeah, unlike most people, I can't have a second device where I can see what's going on. It's I have to rely on Amy and Eleanor for that. So
Yep.
because
You
they'll
have
just
only
they'll
two
eat it.
eyes and you have to watch the birds.
Oh, they'll also eat any other device I put in here. So
Yeah, that's the next thing.
could bring the iPad in, but defending it, I don't know how I can do that, especially since I occasionally have to chase after a problem. And when I get away, this one over here, Cecil, he knows. Second I'm away, he's okay. What can I do? I'm not supposed to do. He's not as bad as Bob is, though. Babaloo. I mean, the second you turn your back, he's immediately doing something he's not supposed to do. So he knows it too.
Sounds like Bob.
You can't turn your back on him for a second. Pippa's more direct about that kind of thing, though. She'll do it right in front of your face. She doesn't care. She's not sneaky. KK's not sneaky either. He'll try to coax you into doing something. I want to do this. Will you let me? Okay. He's more into coaxing you. I was talking to a friend of mine who's writing a book, quite knowledgeable in parrots. I was talking to her yesterday about some of the differences, kind of helping her with her book. But she's already, when I say she's writing a book, she already has the publisher behind her. So she is writing a book. It will get published. But you were talking about people when they first get birds, they first think about getting them, what they usually think. And what I said was, oh, it's pretty and I can keep it in the cage and take it out whenever I want to. Which is what, yeah, that's the big fallacy right there. The other thing that I brought up is a lot of people will say, well, I want a macaw because I like the colors. There's a reason to choose something because you like the color, the behavior patterns between each one of these birds, when you go from a true parrot to a cockatoo, there's huge differences, but there's differences between each one of the species in the category too. So umbrellas tend to be, as you can tell, they tend to climb on you a lot more. Not so much with the what they call Moluccans here. It's actually a serum cockatoo, but not so much with the pink birds. They will. I mean, if I don't cuddle with, what are you doing, Cecil? You want to be paid? He's grabbing my thumb and yanking on it. I want he wants to be petted. This one over here, if you don't get to pet her sometime, if she comes over anytime during the meeting when you're in the socialization room, and she sits on you for at least 10 minutes and you get to pet her, she's okay. But if she hasn't been pet, you're not taking her out of this room. So she'll come out last and I'll sit with her for 10 or 15 minutes. Otherwise, she's not gonna take it.
And she'll be an angry Betty.
Oh, well, she could be worse than that. She might start pulling her feathers. So, but she'll tell you if you try taking her out, she won't. She'll get her wings open, trying not to keep you from going through the door. But they're all different. You have some of them that some of the surrounds like to snuggle. Mander's like that. He loves to snuggle, but Are you going to try to get him to preen you now? Okay.
Who is that?
Snowball and Sugar.
Oh, that's new.
Oh.
No, they do this. Maybe new on the live stream. They do it. It's just you have to watch Snowball because he
Mm.
developed that, you know,
No,
barbering.
I
That's
just mean
another.
most of the time I see Snowball on Sugar's perch. Sugar is having a fit.
Yeah, true. I see a lot of this stuff where they do this, but
Yeah, you definitely see more than I do.
yeah. Well, yeah, just works that way. But I'm in here all the time. It's better when he preens a little bit and walks away because he has a tendency to overpreen other birds, which is what we call barbering, where you don't cut your own hair. So you're not a barber if you inflict damage on yourself. But he got along with Chloe for 5 years and then started barbering. So it's being raised in captivity that causes the problem. But I had an interesting talk about a lot of the different things, especially about she's writing a section now on new ownership. So people who try to decide if they're going to get a bird and trying to trying to help with the language. And one of the things we were talking about is how the majority of people just can't handle them. They just can't do it. They don't have the skills, and it's going to end up badly. And trying to decide what word to use. It really does come down to about 95% of the people who get them can't. Whoops, what are you doing over there? You falling? Are you okay? Or are you trying to get down? What are you doing? You're being silly. I don't know what you're doing. You need some help, or is that where you want to be? Here, here, there you go. Hey, that's my face. Cecil just reached up and grabbed my face. What are you doing? I know you're trying to hit me with a toy, but grabbing my face, that's kind of different for you. Don't do that too often. Not aggressively, anyway. They're just so different. One of the things we discussed too is what you need to know, what you absolutely must know. And it really does come down to things like you don't know how to pull a blood feather, you probably shouldn't have one. Just on that basis alone, because they have depending on where the feather breaks, it can be like turning on a faucet because you have arterial blood. So they can bleed to death if you don't pull the feather. But you need to know how to do that. Most of the time when you have a blood feather break, it's gonna seep out, but if it breaks the right way or the wrong way, then the blood just comes pouring out. And if you can't pull it, then it's a problem. So and the other thing that we were discussing that's important of major importance is to give them only an amount of time when you first get them that you're going to give them for the rest of their life. So if you give the bird 2 hours a day when you first get them, you better stay for 2 hours a day. Try it with a baby. That was one of the other things we talked about. Try it with a baby. Give them a whole bunch of attention for the first few weeks you have them, and then try ignoring them and see what you get. So that's it. With a baby human, you're going to have a screaming little monster in most cases. And that's because you gave them all that attention, then you withdrew it. These guys, they just expect the same thing. So just don't give them more than you're going to give them later. That's right, big boy. Hmm? What? What's that look for? What's that look for? Hmm? I'm gonna take it from you. I'm gonna pet you. I'm gonna pet. See, I'm taking it. I'm petting you, silly bird. And then people who get these birds from pet stores, which is never recommended. The pet store is going to try to sell you whatever kind of food they have there that makes them the most profit. You need to know what they should eat and what's best for them from the start. Not going to get that from most bird stores. They're going to lie to you. So whatever they have the highest profit margin is what they're going to push on you. And then when you adopt one, it may have terrible eating habits and you've got to change them. That's not an easy thing, is it? Is it? You eat well. You do. Yeah, you eat well. You eat well. He liked my food from the beginning, so I got lucky there. Didn't I? Didn't I? Picky bird. Picky good bird. Picky good bird. See, salt. What are you doing, Snowball? Snowball. Yeah, Cecil is messing with me. Well, I'm looking at you, kiddo. You're watching Cecil? Yeah. He's beating me up.
He likes to do that. It's his favorite hobby.
And it used to be chasing the other birds around with a toy, so you have to choose your battles. So I had to teach him to beat me up instead of them. Because they don't care much for that. He'll occasionally start going towards KK, and I have to stop him because that's not going to work. KK won't understand why his preening buddy is hitting him with a toy. I don't think the rest of them understand, but they know enough to get away from him. KK doesn't know that. Yeah, I know you modified your own toy.
I hope for his sake KK figures it out eventually.
Yeah, I think that I've pretty much got him so he won't try to go after KK, but once in a while he gets too hyped up. Yesterday he was a little on the hyped up side towards the end of the day. Weren't you? Hmm? Hmm? Hi, sugar. Yeah, I know what it means when you say that. Yes, I know. Cecil, if you're on my arm, I can't pet sugar. You need to get off my arm so I can pet sugar. There you go. Hey, hey. No, he's hitting me with a toy so I can't pet her. No, stop. Good boy. Sugar just wants a little petting. No, don't hit my arm when I'm trying to pet the sugar. Stop it. You little pest. Get down there. Go on. Don't look at me like that. What's that look? What's that look? Hmm? He has some feathers over there that need pruning. I know it's right near your ear. There we go. Yep, too close. Sorry. Sorry, Shug. Hey, Cecil. Cecil. Stop it. Stop it. All past. Try to pet Sugar. Preening her actually more than petting. Finding feathers I can preen. She doesn't. She gets preened a little bit by the other bird. Oh, come on. Switch. Just go blank and then come back to the same screen. Who programmed that API anyway? What are you doing? Okay, that's it for now, Tig. This is no. Oh. It's a little demanding, don't you think?
Mm.
You got a little demanding there, girl?
Behind her, somebody is on the top of the pole having a good time.
Hey.
I guess. Snowball?
See, that's my ear. Stop it.
Oh,
You are being a little pest today. Hey. No. You're not getting up on my shoulder right now. Not with that toy. We'll be able to use the camera later. Later you can get on my shoulder. Come on. Yeah, that's the problem too when you're on Zoom. It won't focus properly sometimes. We can't fix it. Having fun over there, Snowball? It's okay. You can hit me with it, but not well. Not, you can't stand on my arm. You can't stand on my shoulder right
There's a question from Nisa. She wants to know if you missed the flock weekly. I think you missed them daily, don't you?
daily. Yep. I use those. It's got a stupid name, but Poop Off makes a good mister, a fine mist. So I spray them down every morning. What? That's Snowball. Where's Snowball? There's a Snowball. There it is. Nice snowbird. That's a good boy. What? What? What, Cecil? Look at you two.
Oh, sweetie boys.
Hey, hey, hey. He was trying to get a new grip on his toy, and my hand was in the way, and I know where that's going. You're pretty good, and you don't do it intentionally, but you're pretty good about not getting me back. There are those moments, aren't there? You've got a toy.
Why? Gosh, that's so cute.
Look at the way her head's tilted.
Mm.
So hurtful. Preen me.
Mm.
I don't know why the serums are always trying to turn the umbrellas into slaves, but they are. Preen me, and then they don't preen them back.
Oh, and there was a question from E. Schwartz about whether the birds take baths as well as getting showers, or do they only take showers?
They take baths when they want to. The only one that gets a regular bath around here is Bob, and that's because of his cloaca problem. They don't need it. They know when they need a bath, and they'll give themselves a bath, but which is usually in their large water bowls, and then I have to go back and if I want them to take a bath, all I have to do is vacuum. Yeah. You don't give them fresh water and then vacuum. That doesn't work. Because then you got to go give them water again. Right, Cecil? You're the worst one on that, or the best. It depends on how you look at it. Yeah. No, unlike, well, even people don't need a bath every day. Mammals don't need it either. It's just these guys don't stink. So, and they have the cockatoos. They have feather dust, and that's what keeps them clean. So, keeps everything going. Actually, giving them a bath every day would probably be a bad idea. You don't want them to lose that dust. So, but if you get it wet, it doesn't go away. It just kind of mats into their body. So that's why I spray them every day. They need that to keep their feathers supple. Right, Cecil?
Have you got supple feathers, Cecil? I think they're supple.
Yeah. You don't want to remove the feather dust now. There are some people who do it for that reason, but I honestly don't think that's good for them. You need to run a HEPA filter or my new creation, which actually I actually picked that up from the fan that's back there with the filter on it. Picked that up from a company that does that. They do filtration systems for homes. They actually said that you can do that. It gives you, they said it's about 85% efficient. Well, it's actually a lot more efficient with their powder down. Um, if I take one of the HEPA filters and I clean the carbon filter, I get a pretty good puff of dust. But if I give one of these the same amount of time in the room, and it has 10 times the dust. So I think those actually work better for feather dust. I picked up a couple more of them. Yeah, at about $25 a piece, and a $5 filter on them, and They really suck the dust out of the air. The only thing you have to remember there, you can't blow them. You have to use a leaf blower to blow them out, and you can only blow on the side that doesn't have the screen. Because if you try blowing the other way, they have some fiberglass, and you're going to be pushing the fiberglass out of them. So you have to blow them out the same way they normally suck the dust out of the air. But they were great for that. Better than I thought they would. It was worth a try, and actually they do work better. They suck in more air. They have more surface to get the dust, and MERP8 seems to work just fine. Even a 6 seems to pull most of it out of the air. And if you look at most of your HEPA filters, they'll have a few. They usually have a grill on them, and a lot of air, that surface area is not exposed. And that's all exposed surface area. You don't want them to get near it, though. They don't go over in that corner, and I watch them to make sure they don't. The closest one who gets to it is Snowball, and he goes over there to nest. He never goes anywhere near that. I think they don't like the sound of it either, so they stay away from it. And they don't do well with their own dust. So you have to keep the dust out of the air. You have to keep the humidity of 50% or better. You don't want it to go too high, because then you'll start getting mold. So about 50% humidity. Use a humidifier, an ultrasonic humidifier. Unless you're in Alaska, you might want to use the other kind, just to heat the room at the same time. Snowball, is she giving you trouble up there? I hear her demanding. You okay, Snowball? Sugar, give him a break. He can't bring you all the time. They produce a lot more dust than people can imagine. You're trying to ignore her, Snowball? I don't know if that works. All right, be nice. He doesn't have to preen you. Snowball, you want to come down here? Come on, Snowball.
So pushy. Oh my.
Come on, Snowball. No, don't stay up there if she's going to be like that. Come on. Come on. Snowball. Come on. Let's go. Come on. Come on, Snowball. Come on. Let's get you out of there. She's being pushy.
Yep.
You go play over here.
He's only allowed on the perch of Shirk when he brains. If not, just forget it. Eleanor, have you read the post from GTH to Dawn already?
No. Do you want to read it? Or shall I read it?
You can do.
Okay. So GTH says, Don, on your fan, you might want to check the temperature of the motor. Doing less work will spin the motor faster. The capacitor may need to be smaller for lowest temperature operation. Make sure the bearing/bushing is oiled and the speed setting is medium or lower. The motor shouldn't burn if you hold it for a minute.
Is he talking about the fans?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I never take them above medium. And then I blow them out. You can't reach in there and touch the motor though, the way they're built. Um, yeah, at night I leave them on one, and then I put them on medium, or excuse me, the medium for the day. I haven't had any issues with them, but you got to blow them out every day though. with 12 cockatoos, they get pretty loaded. I use a electric leaf blower it'll blow you away. It's got a lot of power to it. So
We have another question by Lisa. She wants to know if a cockatoo isn't very dusty, does that mean it's sick?
well, it can. It could mean that. But the question is, how can you tell if it's dusty? The best thing to do is to put them in a spot where um, they're near a window, like on a perch near a window, and where the sun is on them, and then wait until they do a rouse, and then you can tell how dusty they are. Um, if you're living in an area where there's a lot of humidity in the air, that dust is going to come off them and go relatively quickly to the floor. So you won't see it. You may not be aware of it. When you take your hand, like Cecil, hi Cecil, you won't let me, will you? And you rub your hand on it, you don't see much dust on a lot more on a Moluccan than you will on an umbrella. But so when I do this with him, you don't see a lot of dust. There is if you feel your hand, there is kind of a feeling like maybe you have oil on it. That's the dust. But the best way to see how much dust they have is when you've got a spot where the light is hitting them and they do a rouse. Then you'll know.
So putting the perch of the cockatoo next to a very dark shelf you have cleaned an hour ago and it's full of dust, then the cockatoo is okay.
Yeah, if you can do the same thing with if you've got a perch that they're sitting on and they've been sitting there for a while, especially if they rouse, if you wipe it down with a dark cloth, if you see a bunch of white, then you know you're okay. But again, that would be in a room where you don't have much air movement. And the other thing is, if they're sitting up there and they flap their wings, they can blow some of that dust off, so you won't see it. That's why I say if you got them in the light and you can see the dust come off of them, that's the best way to know. But if there's a lot of air movement and you only have one cockatoo in the room, the dust may go throughout the room. Or the other side of it is, if you've got low humidity, the dust stays in the air, so you don't see it. You don't see it. You have like a picture on the wall that's got um, like a poster that has black on it. That's how I noticed here that we were having a dust problem because of the low humidity. Was I looked up at the picture of Steve Jobs above Pippa's cage, and the black had turned white in just a matter of a couple of days. And that's when I started researching it and figured out that the dust was hanging in the air. The humidity wasn't high enough. So as long as they don't flap their wings when they're sitting on a perch, if they're sitting there for a while and they do a rouse, then you can see how much dust they have. It's not easy to tell just by looking at them either. You can't really tell by looking at them or just running your hands across them. I can feel the difference, but most people wouldn't be able to. Another way would be having them sit on you for an hour. And not necessarily petting them for an hour. It isn't a good idea, but like what Cecil is doing. And my shirt will be covered in white when I'm done. So and right now it doesn't look well. Yeah, I guess it does. It does look a little white. Yeah, a little dust coming off of them. But if you're concerned about the health of your bird, then get a CBC done. Get a blood test done to see how they're doing. If you actually think they're not producing enough dust, then you need to get a blood count done. Hey, Cecil. Hey, Cecil. What's up? Yeah. Oh, yeah? Is that what you have to say to me? Turn this. Is that what you have to say to me? Okay, bird.
And we have a new chatter here. Buffalo Sabras Loyalist, who says, we love our Austin air for that reason. It has really decreased the dust.
Yeah, I mean there are some units like that that are quite expensive that do the job, but I'm amazed how just taking the fan and putting the filter on it has really done a great job at removing the dust. And it sucks a large volume, which the Austin Air does too. It sucks a large volume. Most of these HEPA filters, they definitely will get down smaller, get down smaller particles, but they don't remove enough dust, in my opinion, unless you're going to spend $400 or $500 on a unit. And these ones that I putting together for they're $30 a piece the way I build them. And the only thing you have to make sure of, and there's no way to find out, maybe you just have to test this on your own, is that they can handle being run at the medium level without straining the motor, and that's why you don't run them at the highest level. Well, besides, if you're running them at the highest level, you're moving the dust so fast through, some of the smaller particles may get through. So you really would prefer to have it at medium level. I was surprised to find out that professionals was saying, well, yeah, you can do that. You can build one like that. It'll work. You have to be sure you tape them on so the air can't get around the filter. And they mentioned the motor issues too. You don't know you can't put it on the highest level, but it'll probably be fine on the middle. They weren't going to take a chance on somebody suing them for saying you could do that. But they said it gets about 80%, 85% of the dust out of the air. Now, they weren't talking about bird dust or bird dander. They were talking about just particles in the air. But I don't know with the Austin Air if you take it apart and blow out the unit itself, but I would recommend that. Because with the HEPA filters I have, you have to at least once a month take the whole filter out and blow it out. The dust is actually got hooks in it, and it's what the birds use to hook their feathers together. So it tends to stick on things and it doesn't come off easy. So it gets inside the motor unit. And if you don't blow them out, you can kill your HEPA filters. I learned that the hard way. So, right, Cecil? The kind of thing you can learn the hard way.
Buffalo Sabras Loyalist has answers. Yes, ours is medical grade, and after waiting out the costs of filter replacement, their 5-year filter makes the difference.
Yeah, I haven't found. Well, I understand about the cost, but I haven't found any filter like the carbon filters I use. I have to blow them out daily with 12 cockatoos. So I think I would take a 5-year filtration unit and make it about good for 2 weeks. I've seen the way these things go, but because it's you're saying a 5-year filter, that's on normal air filtration, I think. I don't know. All I know is I take a black carbon filter and it is white in one day. Yeah. Black on one side and white on the other. And then the HEPA filter behind that is at least once a week that needs to be blown out. I usually do it at the same time anyway, but.
And
And then
TTH
once
would
they
like to know about the
go ahead.
dust production. Is the dust a breakdown product of the feather, or are there dedicated glands structures that produce it?
It comes from the semi-plumes, the feathers that are, look like half a feather and then half of a down feather. That's where the majority of the dust comes from the semi-plumes. And then that dust gets spread, that semi-plumes are underneath before you get to the coverts underneath. So what they do is when they break, that part of it breaks down at the end of the feather that looks like down, and then it spreads throughout the entire body, and they spread it too when they preen. So it's a feather production. The feathers make it. Specifically the semi-plumes. You're eating the chair? No, we're not eating the chair. No, we're not eating the chair. No. KK, let's not eat the chair. You got wood over here.
Those gosh darn chair eaters.
Yeah, if you've got a microscope that will get you down small enough, or a lens for your camera, a macro lens, you can see the hooks at the end of the hooks in the dust. No, we're not eating the chair. We're not eating the chair. No, we're not. We're not eating the chair. Come here. Come here. Come here. Whoops. Come here. KK, come here. If you want to chew wood, there's plenty of wood on this side, okay? Hey, my head you're whacking. Sugar left us a present there. There we go.
Oh, Shuggy. So generous of you.
That was DRA, differential reinforcement of another behavior. Right? I send him to some wood that you can't stop him from chewing the chair unless you give him something that's easier to chew. I can tell you too, if you don't have enough humidity in the room, you're going to have some lung issues. I mean, I don't normally I can cough up most of the dust I get, but I was having trouble when we first got here. I love the low humidity myself, but once you get used to the nosebleeds, you have nosebleeds for the first couple of weeks. You live in the desert, but if you don't have enough humidity in the air, you're going to be breathing that dust. Even with a HEPA filter in the room, the dust tends to stay up in the air. I mean, it'll suck it down, but it tends to just float. So if you have enough humidity in the room, it's going to go to the floor. That means you have to vacuum, but somebody woke up. Pretty song. Pretty song, Jazzy Jazzbird.
She's woken up with a vengeance.
Pretty song, Jasmine. That's a jazzy song. And when she does that, that kicks in the sound deadening in my ears. The automatic noise canceling goes. So can't hear myself talk. But hi, Jazz. Hi, baby. So the combination of the right humidity in the room and any decent filtration system. I don't like the tall ones. The filters that are the top. You need something that has more surface area, so you want to go with the one that has the most surface area. So far, it's those little cheapies I built that work better. I'll take a video of it. You can see what they look like after a day. It's insane to see all the dust coming out of them, and then compare the dust coming out of the filters from the actual. I have Winix HEPA filters, and there's about a third as much dust coming out of them as there is coming out of these fans with the filters on them. But there's a lot of dust. It's just you can nearly choke. You have to use the leaf blower to blow it away from yourself so you don't breathe it. And different people have different concepts of what a lot is. But I'm surprised that people driving by haven't called to say, I don't know what he's doing in that house over there, but that doesn't look right. I'll call the police department. That, well, maybe he's making drugs or something.
I don't know. It seems like people keep to themselves in Pahrump.
Yeah, they do. They tend to. Unless you're at the store or you're somewhere out. Like when I took Cause out to the Home Depot to get wood, I went to get water and to get wood, and I couldn't walk. I couldn't make a couple of steps, and then somebody would talk to me, and just that was kind of funny because I had just gotten water and I needed to get to the bathroom, and it took me 20 minutes. And it's like a 2-minute walk from the front door, and it took me 20 minutes to get to the bathroom. Everybody and their brother, oh, we're showing a beautiful bird. Does she bite? That's the first thing. Usually they'll say beautiful, then they'll say, does it bite? And I'll say, no, she doesn't.
You can make yourself very unpopular by doing that to other people's children, asking them, do your child bite?
Yeah, that's it. I hadn't thought of that. That's a great idea.
Another response by Buffalo. These are layered. We have one we vacuum, the next one we wash, and then 5-year considered the permanent inner filter. That said, I've used your fan design with great success. And then another question, do you potty train?
I don't need to. They won't poop on me, and they have their spots they go. If you do train
Cecil
a bird,
will poop on you.
Yeah, that's a special case.
That's revenge pooping.
He hasn't done that. I let him at least every other day have some time with Lorelei. They train. They don't do anything else now, but so he's not doing as much of that. But you do not want to teach them to poop on cue. That's a mistake. You don't want to do that. And the reason is if they're used to being told to do it on cue, then they may hold it in. And then you're talking about a prolapse coming down the line because they're not supposed to hold their poop in. So if you teach them to let you know when they want to go and let them, if you see it, then you can pick them up and put them on a perch. That's fine. But they still need to go within 30 seconds to a minute of when they need to go. So you don't want to hold that. You don't want to make it so that they have to strain. They have to hold it in because that's going to cause. What that does is it causes a problem with the way the colon evacuates the peristaltic movement. And then once they have a problem with that, they have to use their gut muscles. And when they do that, they start pushing out their insides. So. And you can find that information in the manual of parrot behavior. It talks about that. And then when you're searching online for information about that kind of thing, you can add DVM to it. Whatever you're searching for, is it safe to teach a bird to toilet train a bird? If you add DVM after it, you'll get a better answer. I haven't asked ChatGPT, but it probably does cover that. 9 times out of 10, it's right. Don't ask Siri anything because it doesn't even know what you're talking about. The main thing is not to teach them that they have to be told. They have to be told to go. You don't want that. You want them to tell you when they need to go, and if they can't get your attention, then they're going to go anyway. It's okay to teach them to, but 9 times out of 10, they're going to be going in just one spot anyway. Or if they're in a certain room, they may have 1 or 2 spots, and you know where to put paper down or whatever you have to do. And if they do, like here, occasionally, there's some spots where they could hit the carpet, comes right up. And I just use full X. It's not technically safe for birds, but I don't have any birds that eat carpet, so they don't chew on the carpet. If I did, I wouldn't use it. I'd use something like Dr. Bronner's, which is what I use to clean. I use Dr. Bronner's soap. It's meant for children. It's unscented. That's what I use to clean the perches and the. In here, I use it to clean the metal and the perches. There's nothing in there that's going to bother them. There are some commercial products. I used to use a commercial product that's specifically for birds, but they put too much scent in it, so I stopped using it. You need an unscented Dr. Bronner's. It's just fine. See, I redirected him just fine down there. I think that's mentioned in Parrots for Dummies. That's the first book I read. I think it's mentioned in there too about toilet training them. It's okay to teach them they need to go, but you can't cue them, go now. That's a bad thing to do. I know some people have done it. But Bob and his hanging prolapse, 12 years now. He's been right at the edge of a prolapse, but his mash there's so much liquid in his mash that he has a prolapse. He does not look good when he squawks because he's pretty close to a prolapse, but it just hasn't happened. This one up here used to Sugar. She used to groan when they make a grunting sound when they're going, and that indicates they're heading towards a prolapse because they're using their gut muscles. She doesn't do that anymore. She's on the mash I make, and the main thing about making a mash is you want to get liquid into them. Dr. Jenkins said the big problem with these birds is they don't get enough liquid. I think they like drinking from like leaves. In the wild, it would rain because it rains all the time, and except in Australia it doesn't. But for the majority of these birds that are in here, they're drinking off leaves or they're drinking off of natural fountains, that kind of thing. They like to. If they drink from a bowl, they have to get a little bit in their beak and lean their head back and get a little. I don't think they like drinking like that. So if you give them a mash that has more liquid in it, or find a way, if you can get them to drink out of a Lixit bottle, that's even better. I've got 2 that will. I've got 12 Lixit bottles and 2 birds that drink out of them. So they all have a Lixit on their cage, and you just get it up high enough where they can just tilt their head back and drink. Cecil likes doing that, don't you, Cecil? There's still so much we don't know. I don't think anybody knows how they drink in the wild. There's that one video on YouTube where it's in Australia and a greater sulfur is sitting on top of a water fountain. And obviously, anyone who knows birds knows the bird is saying, "Could you turn the handle so I can get water?" And it takes these people a good minute to figure out what the bird wants. And then so they give the bird a little water, and then it asks for it again. And it takes them about 30 seconds to realize he wants the handle turned again.
Yeah, the bird was more on the ball than the humans.
Yeah, we're not terribly observant. It's like that one I have. You can find it in our show notes for those shows we have notes on, um, where it's the who done it, and you're supposed to watch and figure out who commits this murder. It's kind of a British murder uh, show, it's just a 2 minute video. But when you get to the end of that video, you realize you really don't see what's going on. And it's true, we don't recognize what they're doing until it's too late, right? Cecil, Cecil, Snowball, Snowball. Well, folks, it's that time, so let's say goodbye until next time. Right, Sugar? Sugar! And thanks, Amy and Eleanor, for your moderation. And
And thank you, Don, for the stream.
the next time Cecil sees you, he will whack you on the head. He's good at that. And bye, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.